welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Ivana Delevska. She's the founder and CIO of Spare Invest to discuss the metaverse and potential winners in the space. Ivana, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me, Jill.
All right, you got it. Let's talk about the metaverse. What exactly is that? What sectors does it impact, and what are some of the use cases?
So, Jill, we view the metaverse as a meaningful parallel economy with many of the same subsectors that we have in our current economy: manufacturing, advertising, financials, social. So all of those are their own subsectors with their own subsector dynamics.
And, you know, it's interesting. We recently started discussing the metaverse more with Facebook changing its name and so forth, but it doesn't sound like it's that new of a concept.
So we focus at Spear specifically on manufacturing companies and industrials and enterprise in general. And the concept for manufacturing companies was introduced about 10 years ago as Industry 4.0. And what it means is basically trying to replicate copies of the current manufacturing footprint in a digital twin. So the concept has been around for a while. However, the technology behind it wasn't ready for implementation. So examples would be we didn't have good connectivity, so 5G solving those issues today. We didn't have the ability to compute at the source, called edge computing, and that's available today. And just overall compute speeds weren't where they need to be. So all of those have changed over the past 2 to 3 years, and therefore we see a lot more tools available that will enable adoption of this concept.
So who are some of the winners in this space? What are some of the affiliated companies, particularly as it relates to the manufacturing sector?
So we think the best risk reward is in the building blocks or companies that provide the tools that enable different metaverses. So examples would be Nvidia, example would be Microsoft, an example would be Unity. These companies will win no matter what end markets end up adopting the metaverse first, because they provide the back-end tools. So Nvidia, as an example, benefits on both sides, on the hardware and the software side. The company makes graphic processing units known as GPUs that are really at the core of any graphic rendering experience. So so that's on the hardware side. And then on the software side, Nvidia just introduced some new interesting software offerings. One of them is called Omniverse, and this is basically a platform where engineers can bring their current software tools, integrate them, and enhance them with AI capabilities. So this is a product that's available today. It's actually free to download for individuals, and companies pay something around $1,000 to $2,000 per users, depending on the type of license. So it's a product that's readily available, and we expect companies will quickly adopt it as it's a useful tool to generate these interactive experiences.
So Ivana, when we think of a company like an Nvidia, it's not specific just to manufacturing. It also has endpoints when it comes to gaming and other types of sectors. So those are the kinds of companies that you look for that have touch points across multiple industries.
That's right. So basically for Nvidia, the sector that we are the most excited about, it's called data center. And this sector basically provides the back end for any enterprise computing. So we expect the growth for data center to be very strong, as data centers will need to upgrade their current GPUs to support the current workloads. And on top of GPUs, the company also offers now enterprise AI, which is a tool that will manage the use of these GPUs. So it's the applications are way beyond manufacturing. They extend to pretty much they will touch every industry available today.
You know, it's so interesting, Ivana, just to wrap up here, the way the technology moves, it seems like it goes quicker. You know, if you think about Industrial 4.0, to your point before, something might have been in place for, let's say, a number of generations or decades, but it seems like every few years, the technology is getting upgraded and that time frame continues to shrink.
That's right, Jill. So the way we view it is, until it becomes a necessity for companies to adopt it, they will be very slow at adoption. So we expect relatively slow adoption upfront, but once the trend catches and this is a meaningful part of your business, a meaningful part of your planning process, or a meaningful part of your like core operation, we expect companies will very quickly adopt it. So the curve almost looks exponential, where there is like nothing for 10, 15 years, and then it just becomes something that it's a base load for every company.
Basically like what we saw with cloud adoption.
Exactly right.
All right, Ivana, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.